In this video, we're going to look at another example of a law of cosines problem for solving an oblique triangle. I realized I left my L out there, which is a non-right triangle. Again, the law of cosines works for side, 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 and side angle side problems. We have already done a side angle side example, so now we're going to look at a side, side, side example. Okay, so for this one, let's look at side A, 8 feet, side B, 19 feet, and side C, 14 feet. If you want to draw your triangle out, could let big A be there. It looks like this side's the largest, so 19 feet there, that would make that B. 14 feet here, that would make that side C. Okay, so your job here is to find all the missing angles. I typically like to start with the largest one. So if the largest side is side B, that means the largest angle is going to be angle B. So I would start with this formula right here that has the big B in it. Okay, so we're going to find angle B. All right, so we need B squared, which would be 19. 19 squared equals A squared plus C squared. 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 2AC minus 2 times 8 times 14 times the cosine of big B. Okay, so we've got to solve for B. So what you want to do is you want to simplify this and simplify that if you can. So we have, and you can also simplify the 19 squared. So 19 squared is going to be 361. So we have 361 equals 8 squared plus 14 squared is 260. And then 2 times 8 times 14 is 224. So we have 224 cosine B. Remember that these are not like terms because this has the cosine B attached to it, so you cannot subtract the 260 and the 224. Our next step is to subtract this 260 over from the 361. So we have 361 minus 260 gives us 101 here, equals negative 224 times the cosine of B. We want to get the cosine of B by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 224. These are going to cancel. 101 divided by negative 224 gives us, keep 4 decimal places, negative 0.4509 equals the cosine of B. Okay, to get angle B, you do cosine inverse. Cosine inverse, negative 0.4509. So second cosine, negative 0.4509, gives us 116.8 as angle B degrees. Okay, so at this point, now that you know what angle B is, again, some people like to switch to law of sines now because you do have a side-side angle triangle at this point, or a side-side angle triangle, however you want to look at it. If you have found the largest angle first, which I did, I made sure that I went to the largest side and found the angle opposite that first. If you have found the largest angle first, it is safe to switch to the law of sines and find everything else that way if you prefer to do that. However, if you haven't found the largest angle first, when you switch to the law of sines, remember that the law of sines is ambiguous. When you find angles using the law of sines, there is the possibility that when you find your angle, that you could have an acute angle in quadrant 1 or an obtuse angle in quadrant 2 because the sign is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. If you've already taken care of your obtuse angle in the law of cosines, then you know that when your calculator gives you your angle in quadrant 1 using the law of sines, that you're safe because you've already taken care of finding this angle over here. However, if you haven't, then you have to be careful in the law of sines and double check to make sure that your angle is not obtuse. So if you're going to switch to the law of sines, if that's something that you want to do, make sure you always find your largest angle first with the law of cosines. Or if you just want to play it safe, stick with the law of cosines throughout, which is what I'm going to do in this example. So after we have found angle B, I'm going to go to the second largest angle, which would be side 14, go across angle C. So I'm going to find angle C. All right, angle C would mean I need to use this formula right here that has the big C in it. So that's going to be little c squared, 14 squared, a squared plus b squared, 8 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 8 times 19 times the cosine of C. Solve it the exact same way you found angle B. Go ahead and simplify a little bit. So we have 14 squared, which is 196. Go ahead and simplify and combine those. 8 squared plus 19 squared is going to give us 425. And then 2 times 8 times 19 is going to give us 304 here times the cosine of C. Okay, we need to subtract the 425 over. So 196 minus 425 gives us negative 229. And then divide by negative 304 on both sides. So you have cosine C equals 0.7533 if you're keeping your 4 decimal places. Okay, this is where you're going to do the inverse. So angle C is the cosine inverse of 0.7533. So second cosine 0.7533 is going to give us 41.1 degrees for angle C. Okay, after you've found those two angles, the third angle is going to be easy because you're going to subtract from 180. So to find angle A, all you have to do is 180 degrees minus the two angles you've just found, 116.8 and 41.1. So 180 minus 116.8 minus 41.1 gives us 22.1 for angle A. And what should always happen when you're doing any of these laws, the smallest angle should always end up being opposite the smallest side, and it is 22.1 here. That's the smallest angle. It's across from the smallest side. The largest angle is across from the largest side. All of that should work out. Another thing to watch with any of these triangle laws is to even have a triangle, the two shortest sides of the triangle have to add up to be larger than the third side. So anytime you're given a side, side, side problem, which is what this was, side, 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 before you ever start, just make sure that those two sides, the two short sides, if you add them together, that they are larger than that third side, or it doesn't even make a triangle. So 14 plus 8 is 22, which is greater than 19. So an example of something that wouldn't make a triangle would be like if your three sides were, side A is 4, side B is 6, and then side C is 12. Something like that would not even form a triangle because your two short sides added together are only 10. 10 is not greater than 12, so those two sides would not even meet to be longer than that side. So you would just put on a problem like that, you would just put no triangle. So just be watching for that on side, side, side problems.